Okay, this is the start of our next project in all our glory. It's insanely filthy right now, as it was sitting out and the chickens got all over it and whatnot. But this is a 12 valve, VE 12 valve, that will be going in a Super Duty for a customer. So we just brought it in, we're gonna clean it all up and make sure it looks really good. We're still waiting on a bunch of our adapters and stuff to be able to go in the truck, but it should be a cool project as well. Yeah, she's awfully filthy, so we're gonna do a wash down right now.
Come on.
So what are we doing?
We are attempting to start this old.
After months and months of sitting in a lean-to, not being ran. That's a good sign.
You ready?
Yep.
So hot.
Oh, we should prime that pump. I forgot about that. Okay, so as you can see, it did fire for a second. And we got a lot of oil in the back of the turbo. It's literally dripping out of there. So, but it did fire as soon as we hooked up that fuel shutoff. Here, we'll try her again here. Man, that thing fired fast. Goodness, that's awesome. Okay, well, there you go. Might need to do a different turbo on it, but we got enough of those around here.
Why are you so oily?
So oily. Okay, well. Okay, so what we found out running this thing is that it didn't seem like the pump was allowing us to rev the engine up at all. So we kind of fiddled with a bunch of stuff, and we ended up finding out that the thing wanted to run away on us, so which isn't good. The first thing I thought about was that, we have oil coming out of the turbo, so we potentially have oil feeding the system. But as you can see, the feed side of it, well, there's no oil in there, or not. There's a little bit of oil, right? Obviously, we have some in both sides, but obviously it's not connected to the actual engine inlet here. So that basically narrows it down to that we have there's something stuck in this pump basically that we're going to have to probably pull apart and clean up. And like we said before, I guess it's been running it's been sitting for quite a while, and so it just obviously parts just kind of get seized up and rusted or gummed up from sitting around. We tried to kind of when it was put there, we tried covering up all the orifices and whatnot, but obviously stuff still kind of gets stuck after a while. So, but that being said, we're going to be coming into this cover anyways. We want to do the killer dowel pin fix on this engine too before it goes in. That way we know that it's not going to drop that pin in there and kind of grenade the engine. So yeah, I've just been basically stripping all the little amount of wiring off of this engine and hoses and stuff like that, and then we'll start kind of disassembling it and just trying to get it running properly and that kind of thing first, and then we'll see afterwards. Like there's an idler and stuff that we gotta source out from one of our other engines and stuff like that. So kind of go from there. Okay, so we got the front cover off. Now, one thing I was just going to show you is I was talking about the killer dowel pin. That's actually right in here. So this dowel doesn't have anything that basically holds it in there. And what can happen is that can pop out, and then it gets chewed up in these gears and breaks the case and causes all sorts of damage. So we're going to do that while we're in here. We're probably going to have to pull all this off, or we will be, because we want to reseal the cover, make sure that it's not going to leak after it's in the truck. And then I will be pulling this one off. This is the pump gear. So it'll be coming off. We'll pull the pump off, and then we can get it sorted. But I just wanted to show you that that's that dowel there. What we're probably going to do is just build a little plate that'll, with this bolt here, it'll just basically have a little eyelet that comes around and just covers that, so that when this is tightened up, it'll hold that dowel in there as well. And that way that guy can't come out and cause problems. Okay, so this is a little bit different from when you seen it last. I had to kind of just get ripping on the engine and get a bunch of it tore apart and stuff. We're a little bit more of a time crunch on this one, so we're just trying to get everything basically done on it and put together so we can get ready to put it in the truck. So I was going to show you here. This is what we had to do to pull the cam out. Was use these dowels. So basically, we just got them at the hardware store. Basically, they're about a foot long, and they have a slit cut in the top so that they can conform. Push them down into the lifters, and then pull them up and zip tie them together. And in that way, it holds the lifters all up and don't let them drop down. And then we could pull the cam out of the front. So we did that. We painted it. We had some pretty serious issues in these last two exhaust ports. All four of the bolts broke off, so we had to drill and tap those out, which was a bit of a pain. And then here, so I don't know if I said on the last clip that I shot, we had, when we were running this thing, after a couple seconds or minutes there, we found that it was running away on us, which isn't good, but it was obviously pump related. So basically, I pulled this top portion of this pump off. Now we're going to leave it off because we have a higher RPM governor spring that'll be going in it, which is this guy here. Now we're finding that this actuator here, which is pulled, this is the throttle linkage actually pulls on this, and that's what basically increases our RPM, the fuel flow. And this guy, it's hard to know. I haven't played with these pumps very much, but it seems quite stiff. So we're not sure if that's what's causing the thing to just keep fueling and trying to keep revving up as high as it is. So we put a little bit of lubricant in here to hopefully kind of free everything up, and we're trying to turn and move everything, make sure it's working. But basically now we've just sprayed a little paint on it, so we're gonna put a bunch of the new gaskets in that we've basically had up apart, and then we can start kind of assembling it. And then if this pump, if we can get it freed up and working, we'll use it. If not, we'll have to probably source one off another engine or find another one to drop in it and whatnot. So here we go. Okay, so we got the Cummins dropped in here now. There's her in the frame. Everything went really smooth, actually. We had to watch on this one as there's, let's see if I can get in there. There's studs on these instead of the regular. Typically you have bolts, or I mean there's studs in some, but not as common as bolts are. Anyway, so you have to just really make sure that everything's lined up before you get the engine and trans put together, kind of thing. So anyway, so that's where it's going to sit. We didn't move on this kit here. It looks like in other kits that we've looked at, they're moving the transmission back and whatnot. So this one I think is basically just kind of sits where it sits. They are slotted in here. Like I said, we're actually quite close to the front on these ones, but that's I think where we're going to try and have it sit. Yeah, we got some of the swap parts. We got a tone ring here for the RPM signal for the Ford cluster. Okay, so I got a couple things done here. We've got the dipstick in now for the Ford dipstick for the transmission. So basically made a mount for it down under the motor mount here. Got a line for our wastegate, put AC lines on. For our coolant, our heater hoses, got those on there, and then just basically made a bracket off of our bolt for our manifold there. So we'll have to change that to the Ford one. Actually comes over, you can see basically right up there. That's our one of our heater hoses that comes to the other side on the 6 liter. So it'll have to come across, but that should be fairly easy. I think now I'm getting ready to set the body down kind of close just to get, I don't know if I'm going to set it right down, but we're going to get it kind of close and see how everything is fitting and if we need to change anything, or if we can get an idea on what things we might need to modify. But we'll see here how it goes. So. Okay, the body's basically sitting down where we need it to. This is one of the charge pipes that we had kind of sitting in there, but like there's oodles of room in this thing. We're like a good at least 5 inches from the last valve cover to the firewall there. It might be a little bit tight with the turbo piping and stuff, but I mean, we'll get that to work. Can always kind of custom make something there. That's not a big deal. No, I guess does look like it's a little close with the to the rad here, but anyway, we'll get that kind of stuff figured. But I mean, on either side compared to that 6 liter, we're kind of got a bunch of this stuff. This will be sitting over here and stuff, but I mean, there's lots and lots of room there to work on stuff. So obviously, I mean, we're gonna have piping and stuff here, but I mean, that's pretty minimal. Like that's a lot nicer there. Lots of room down to the bell housing, like the adapter and everything. You can see wide open there. That's really good. Should be good to bring the shift cable and stuff down there and whatnot. But anyway, we're it's looking pretty good. So that's kind of nice. Okay, so we got these built. We ended up just using the Ford inlet there, I guess, right off the turbo. It was the only clamp or boot, I should say, that was 4-inch. So we used that. We didn't really want to use the ribbed one, but actually, I mean, you don't even really see it down there that much. So we can move this cone filter to however we wanted to build the like the air box and whatnot. Kind of move it around there, and then obviously I don't have a boot on there yet, but I mean that runs down and actually works pretty good here. And then actually we got about a 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit more if we tweak this inlet side over between the two pipes here, basically. So that's sweet. And our AC line hooks up and everything. So now one thing we figured out here too is this is our battery cable for this side. All the swaps we've looked at have both batteries sitting basically over in that side, but like there's just insane amounts of room in this thing when you actually have this 12 valve in here. Like there's just insane amounts of room. So we got to mount our ABS module. We're still not sure yet if we're gonna have to bring the cab up or not again to kind of fit, but and then basically both of our batteries will sit here and all the wiring and whatnot. But so I'm gonna start building this side now, and then once I got kind of everything the way I want it, then we'll weld it up solid, and we'll make them look pretty, hopefully, and everything. So yeah, kind of sweet. Okay, just got done with all the piping, so welded it all up and then just basically ground everything down. Got it all nice and smooth. So next will be paint then, and should look pretty decent. So then the next shot I'll have them hopefully on the truck there. We can kind of see what they're gonna look like. So okay, so we got the charge pipes all painted up and cleared and everything. So they're just kind of setting up at the moment. I got the cab lifted back up on here. Right now we're looking at the fuel system. And on these 6 liters, there's a fuel pump right here. We were actually thinking it was in the tank, but I forgot that they have them on the frame rail. So what we were kind of thinking about doing was we were going to do a either an aftermarket fuel pump or try and use a pressure regulator with this one. But it's super easy to bypass these lines here anyway. So I think what we're just going to do is just bypass that, run some new ones up to our stock lift pump on the Cummins itself, and then that way it's just if it ever needs to be replaced, it's just on the side of the block. It's super easy there. So that's what we're going to end up doing here, and yeah, so that's where we're at there. Okay, we're going to try and do our fire up in the frame here now and make sure that we don't have any issues. I'm just going to do a test pump. I don't have the fuel solenoid engaged right now just because I want to make sure we're not in gear. I believe we're in neutral, but I just want to check it and make sure it doesn't take off on us. Looks like we're all right. Okay, fuel shutoff is disengaged. See if she'll draw from the tank here. Just like that. Fires right up. Awesome. One wire to fire this thing up. That's all you pretty much need, and the battery hooked up. All right, so we're figured might as well do the exhaust while we're here. So we're just using the factory, or part of the factory Ford downpipe. We had this flange off initially on there, but anyway, so we're going to use that piece, and then obviously it comes up and it wants to run to the middle of the engine where the turbo is on the 6 liter. So really, we just have this downpipe that came off one of our other turbos. I'm just going to end up basically cutting it here and then just putting basically a cut of the 45 down to this guy, and should be good. And then I guess there's just a few other things I'm going to look at, and I think we'll be setting the cab back down possibly for good, and getting everything hopefully figured out here. So